Hollywood Balls with me, Geordie Pete Redding, and it's Soccer Saturday, my favourite, to be honest. And guess what? The boys are back in town. Great to have you guys in. Welcome. I mean, literally, I've just said to my guest, David Johnson-Rayner, by the way, from Koi Sports. So many people tuning in. It's fantastic. So you've got to tell us a little bit. Give us the background on Koi Sports.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem at all. So we're UK-based, but we work both in the UK and across the world.
Yeah.
And as a social enterprise, we drive commercial investment into grassroots sport. And we do that to deliver positive social change. So nice big polish the halo exercise, Pete. We work within grassroots sport mainly, but also within elite sport as well.
What's the reason behind that, David? I mean, it means a lot to you, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When you look at grassroots sport, whatever sport is you play, you strip everything back. It's a community service.
Right.
So when you're looking after grassroots sport, when you're looking to sustain and grow it, you're actually helping local communities, which gets you into socially deprived areas of wherever it is that we're working. It also gets you into making a real difference to people who perhaps didn't fit in at school or, are at risk of an unhealthy lifestyle in the way of like crime, addiction, all those different sorts of things that we've all heard so many times. But sport's what it's about. Well, why wouldn't we want to invest into it? It's an amazing vehicle to deliver all sorts of different things, and it's great fun as well. Fantastic.
Koi Sports are massive, aren't they? I mean, I've been looking on the website today, and what you guys are doing is incredible.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's gone really, really well. And COVID played right into our hands, really, with the world going virtual. We didn't plan to go worldwide until next year, but we were able to push ourselves out there into different continents. So we're in Uganda, we're in Kenya, we're in America. We've been in and out of Brazil. We're over in the Czech Republic. We're having discussions over in Indonesia. And it's just a replication of what we do, Pete. It's brilliant to watch it fly, brilliant.
How did it all start, though?
Yeah. Nobody really likes to delve into their past, but
not you personally, but how did Koi come around?
Yeah, Koi really came about. It was a brainchild of myself and a fellow director of mine. We were just having a conversation around sport, because sport's a great pub conversation starter. So we decided that we'd do something. We both wanted to do something for the third sector, for other people, cover our costs, reinvest our profits. So it all came about really just through a conversation in a pub, as a lot of these things do, Pete.
Yeah, of course.
And it was something which took a little while to refine from our original discussions, because we were going to take a variety of sport into prisons. But then David Dean, the Arsenal chairman, did his prison project, and so we switched from trying to reduce the risk of reoffending to trying to reduce the risk of first-time crime. We got some traction. We got some support from elite athletes, elite footballers from different countries across the world, and wow, we never expected to see it fly.
Is it important that people are given a second chance and they can utilize the sporting world?
100%. 100%. I mean, I was rubbish at school. I hated that whole thing.
You and me both, mate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing about school, is that it's the way that you're brought up. In most countries, you go to school, and you're there for a good 10, maybe 15 years. And if you fail in every subject, and you fail in every session, after 10 or 15 years, what are you used to doing? Failing. Well, sport's such a huge and vast sector that there are opportunities galore. You don't have to be academic to to push on in this world and make a success of yourself. You just need to find the right vehicle to jump on. And sport, wow, you look at the sector, it's not just playing the sport, it's all of those different service industries around it. I mean, we support colleges and universities around journalism, for example, opening up our elite athlete network, giving them interviews that give them a buzz.
Did you have like a moment where you just thought, right, I'm going to do this? Was there like a sort of a golden moment for you where you thought, yeah, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, I suppose there was really. Yeah, it's really odd actually. There was a business networking app that was similar to Tinder, and of course you won't know what that is, Pete. But
no, of course I don't.
You look at a business person, read about what they're looking to do, swipe left, swipe right. And there was a rugby player from South Africa, I think, who was proposing something. And I thought, oh my God, hang on a minute, sport. And then the more you got to think about it, the more it actually registered in my mind that, if we can actually sustain and grow and help to enhance the sports sector, we can all of a sudden open up this whole new world of opportunity to those that need a second chance, or to those that want to go down a sport pathway with their future. But brilliant, yeah. Ching ching moment, Pete.
Yeah, getting into football, big Leicester fan, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Leicester clearly is the centre of the world when it comes to football.
And by the way, they are going great guns, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen some real dross down there, Pete. I'm 50 years old and a lifetime supporter, but now it's so entertaining to watch. Brendan Rodgers, a great manager.
He's got the club at heart, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's something which didn't surprise me, but it shocks me that somebody can actually appear to care that much and want to bring those young players through. Amazing, great manager.
Who was your favourite Leicester player when you first started going? I was going to go back to. Sorry to interrupt, but remember you had like Gary Lineker and fantastic players.
Alan Smith as well.
Alan Smithy, Sniffer, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my favourite player, I think, has to be Gary Lineker. I mean, that's probably an obvious answer, but I was too late for Frank Worthington. I would love to have watched Frank Worthington play down at Filbert Street. I think that would have been great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gary Lineker. I passed him a snooker cue rest at one point, so he owes me a favour. He'll clearly remember that down at Willie Snooker Club. But yeah, and he was a really nice chap as well. When he came over, he was nice with his market.
What's next for Leicester? Do you think that they can kick on?
Yeah, we've got to get Champions League. We've got to get Champions League. Two seasons we've missed out.
That's a level now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't believe I'm saying that as a Leicester fan.
Well, I can't believe I'm asking this as a Newcastle fan, because we've got nothing. Listen, what I want to go back to Koi Sports, and tell me about the membership and how it works.
Yeah, so this is one of our ways. It's almost like our frontline reinvestment tool. So we'll take a membership fee from a business. They buy a package of business benefits from us, and then we reinvest that membership fee into that new member's chosen grassroots sports club, no matter what it is. So we remain independent. And that money can be used to cover the subscription fees or monthly fees of somebody who can't afford it. So the club can actually open up a bit more, make sport more affordable and accessible. Can be used for safeguarding, development within the committee, buying of resources. It's really there to support. And it's a great way of doing it as well. So
do you choose your grassroots level of where you're going to go, what you're going to do, or it just happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, you become a Koi Sports member.
George has just joined us.
George.
Hello, guys.
Typical of Spurs. 10 minutes late.
Technical challenges.
We're just talking. Yeah, no problem. Listen, George, we're just talking about grassroots sports and what David's doing. David, carry on, because it's fascinating.
Thank you, mate. Yeah. So, for example, if you were to become a member, which I'm sure you will be at some point, You pay us the membership fee, and then you tell us which club you want, or team or initiative or charity you want that reinvestment of your membership fee to go to. That way the choice remains yours. And then we put you both on a podcast to market the club and market you as a business. Then we invite the club and you into networking so that we can bring private sector and the grassroots sports sector closer together. And that kicks on with more sort of financial and non-financial support. It's just great to sit back and watch that happen, forming a relationship between businesses.
How do you identify your grassroots sports stuff, though? I mean, where do you go to?
With regards to the other stuff we do outside of membership, you mean? Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll take inquiries from people. People will contact us from different sports clubs. It might be that we go back to our existing members and say, are you aware of any other sports clubs that are struggling or that could utilise what it is that we do? So it's very much a case of being very specific in where we go through people we trust, because we don't want the money to be wasted. We want the money to go to doing the right things.
Yeah, fantastic. George, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Good to be here.
I've got so many questions for you today, by the way. First is Harry Kane. Is he going? Is he not going? What's happening?
Well, who knows?
He's not going.
Who knows? When does the transfer window close? That's when we'll know for sure, right? Who knows? You get the feeling that the club will not let him go. But if a silly offer comes in, who knows, right?
I thought that offer had come in, and Levy said it hasn't. This morning, there's no offer, so it's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was reported that Manchester City made an offer for £100 million.
Yeah,
and that was declined outright. So I think that's the state of play. I think City may have been surprised. Who knows? If he does go, you got to expect it. At this point, it will take much more.
You'll be down with us if he does go.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You'll be battling with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, David, I want to come back to you and ask you. There was a point that I picked up on the website. You talk about social change. It's massive. Can you just explain a little bit about what you do and how you try and help that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, again, linking it back to sport, because that's what we're about. Positive social change is about improving people's lives. Yeah. So you can look at it from a business perspective, or you can look at it from a holistic perspective. But with sport, the very least you'll get, if you get more people playing sport, is improved physical and mental health. When you look at actually what else it delivers, you've got your team skills that you pick up. You can play to and achieve to whatever level your ability is and succeed. And that changes people's lives, positive social change. And it brings communities together as well. It really does.
How important is it to you? Go on.
Huge. Well, my son, bless him, he's 21 now, or 20 now, nearly 21. He wasn't a great mixer. He was very shy. And there were 3 schools in the village that we worked at, and they all ended up at one high school. Well, just imagining what he would have been like if he hadn't have played with his local football team and met all the other lads that eventually ended up going there as well. He'd have had a hell of a time actually settling in. But because he could go there and meet the lads that he was playing football with week in, week out, it smoothed that process. So for somebody who was a shrinking violet, he was fine, absolutely fine. That transition, me and his mum were over the moon. And I put that down to the football. Positive social change.
Absolutely. I mean, the great thing about playing football as a young girl or a young boy is that the social aspect of it is often underrated, right? Because
100%.
You're in a team, you're communicating, you're listening, you're offering advice, you're partaking in a small social ecosystem, aren't you? Right?
100%.
And that
really
often, and that's just not playing on the pitch. That's training before, preparing, talking, and you learn social skills and you learn how to interact. And if, as you say, your son is a little bit, on the shy side, that's a tremendous boost, right?
Yeah, 100%. He's not anymore.
Yeah,
He's
of course.
loudmouth now. So that's that's the change which we look, and I'm pleased. That's happened.
George, we've got to get onto the football. I literally can't wait. I've got a video message from Super Kevin Campbell. By the way, he's going to batter us. By the way, we got no points last week. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
So we're going to get battered for that. But I've got to ask you, George, how good is a signing of Jadon Sancho for Man United? Because not just him, but Ole's going to keep young Jesse Lingard as well. They're going to build a big team here. They've got years in them.
Look, he's a great player. The thing that I like about him, he's a very offensive player. He's attack-minded, super skill, and he's so young, Pete. Right?
Yeah.
He's so young. It just adds another dimension, and
Chuck Mason Greenwood in there as well.
Yeah. You got Greenwood. You've got the boy James, who I think is very good as well, the Welsh lad. I think it's an embarrassment of riches, and it wouldn't surprise me if this season you would get the top 3 or 4 clubs in the Premier League established very quickly, and I fully expect United will be one of them. I mean, they paid 73 or 75 million pounds for Sancho.
Yeah.
It's
big money, but you know what? It's what you do.
You're a big club. You're a big club. You buy big players. You need big money, and they're willing to do that. So you can't knock it.
David, I've got to ask you, because it comes up on our show every week with every guest, so I may as well ask you, what's your thoughts on VAR?
I don't think this is any news to anybody, but I think VAR is brilliant. It's the people that run it. It's the people that put it through. It makes perfect sense to me, but there has to be a semblance of common sense around it. I think that's the problem. When you've got technology, it's like
totally.
So I'm all for keeping it, but there's got to be a change. I thought it was used really well in the Euros.
Yeah, I mean, David, at the Euros, I don't know if you noticed, but my impression, there was very little controversy over VAR in the Euros. So it goes to your point. I don't think it's VAR itself, it's how it's implemented. And it feels like the people back at the office in the Euros watching the VAR or reviewing VAR were far more consistent and much more impressive than the guys doing the same job at St George's Park in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, I've got my own views on that. And they're relatively controversial, but yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I had some facts in, because George and I are going to be appearing on a VAR. George, it's going to be a nightmare, this. You and I are going to be tested on VAR by Lee Probert. But he messaged me this morning and he said, listen, Pete, he said, I've got to tell you that the difference is in the Euros was that they had 6 individuals looking after it. There's 2 in the Premier League.
Stockley Park.
Yeah, and also they had a specified offside professional.
What's an offside professional?
That's all he was. Out of all of the people that were on the that were on the VAR, he was literally tasked with looking at offside. That's all for the Euros. It's fascinating.
You'll love that. But Lee's one of our ambassadors, Lee Probert. So I've had a conversation with him. That opportunity to go down and be tested on VAR, brilliant, really, really good. Lee's a great bloke.
George is worried because he knows he's going to be offside.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be a challenge, Yeah, but I mean, at a high level, I think everybody can be in agreement that the way VAR has been implemented throughout the Euros was of a significantly higher standard than they have been in the English Premier League.
Yeah.
So the Premier League should just take the learnings from that and reproduce what happened at the Euros. It's that simple, really.
Great to hear from Ronnie. our regular Ronnie. My thoughts about missing out on Christopher Ayer to Brentford. I mean, George, we talked about this literally 2 weeks ago. I thought it was a done deal. He was coming from Celtic to Newcastle. He's gone to Brentford, and Newcastle have missed out.
Yeah,
and that's Newcastle, isn't it?
Well, it's surprising. You just don't know what happens. We're just on the face of it. We're fans, so we don't know the ins and outs. Now, you'd think if you had a choice of Newcastle or Brentford, with respect to Brentford, and I know they've been promoted, you'd think Newcastle, right? But you just don't know. You know, it depends on the chemistry.
What he's been offered.
What has been offered.
Where he wants to live.
Where,
Yeah,
there is that as well. I mean, the old famous story of Rob Lee, Kevin Keegan telling him that Middlesbrough was further north than Newcastle, but
brilliant.
It's right. Listen, we've got to get into. We've got to do it. It's going to be a nightmare. But George, we had a nightmare last week on the old predictions.
Oh God, come on, bring on Super Kev. God help me. Come on.
Here we go.
Hi, Pete, George, and the panel. Let me tell you something. I'm going to leave you to it this week and next week, because I am absolutely disgusted that none of you even got a point last week. What's going on? You see, you need me there to liven things up. But here's what I am going to tell you. The champ will be back very soon. It's getting closer to the season now. And then the champ's just going to ease back on his throne and then wipe the floor with you all yet again. So, sharpen your tools, get predicting, and at least get a point this week. All the best. Hi to the TFC community. Love ya, and remember, Casey's the champ. Never forget it. Bye.
There you go. David, I've got to tell you, he's so competitive, it's unbelievable.
Sounds like it.
It's probably great that he's not on. We've got some great games for you to predict on. It's friendlies, and we've asked Kev as well to send in. So we'll start with our guest. We've got QPR Man U today, which is my brother-in-law's team. James is a QPR fan. QPR Man U. I mean, I know it's a friendly, but what are you going for, David?
It's going to be 2-1 United.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
George.
I don't see them. I think everybody expects to batter him, but
I have the same here. I have 2-1 to Man U. Yeah, 2-1 to Man U.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got that right here.
Great minds.
And then a great friend. I know it's a friendly, but what a great game today! Bayern against Ajax.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you love your European football, George. So it's going to be a cracker. David, what have you got for that?
I've got 2-2 for that one, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. George?
I have 3-1 Bayern.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then we've got to look at. I've picked this one because it's Kev's son, Tyrese Campbell, who's going great guns at Stoke City. He's back in fitness after a long layoff. Stoke Aston Villa. David, what you got?
I've got 3-1 Villa on that one, Pete.
That's a right Midlands one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Enjoy going to both of those grounds.
George?
I've got a friendly draw here, actually. I've got a 1-1 draw.
Friendly draw. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully Tyrese Campbell will be on the score sheet.
Yeah.
Because he's a great lad. Okay, so we move into, and it's totally uncharted territory, but GB women against Japan women. David, there you go.
Yeah. 2-0 GB for me.
Yeah.
Every day of the week. Yeah.
They're pretty up. I mean, I was been reading about them today. They're favourites, so could be really good. George,
I've got 2-0 to the British ladies, to GB.
Yeah. And then arguably the game of the day for in the women's game is Netherlands against Brazil. David?
4-2 Netherlands.
You've done all your research, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is one of the hardest ones to predict today.
Yeah,
it's a difficult one. Netherlands women are very good, as I'm sure David has found out in his research, and the Brazilian women tend to be underachievers. So I've left it blank because I still wasn't sure. I'm going to go for 2-1 to the Netherlands.
Fantastic.
2-1 to the Netherlands.
Great.
What did Kevin go for this one?
He hasn't come back yet. It's typical.
I know. So now,
he hasn't. Yeah, now you can hammer it.
He's late.
Yeah,
right?
He's late to the
He's disqualified. 0 points.
He's done.
0 points.
He's done. Listen, David, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on your show. Can you just tell us where people can go and have a look at Koi Sports and where they can visit websites and Instagrams and what you want to do?
Yeah, of course. So social media, you can find us and me on LinkedIn. You can find Koi Sports on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Website, Koi Sports, KOISPORTS.co.uk. And those are the best ways to find out about what we do. There's so much more we do behind what you see at face value, but the start is come and find out about how you can make a difference personally.
I think it'll make a massive impact with TFA as well. I'm sure you guys will be able to pick that up and do it. We wish Leicester all the best. We wish Koi Sports all the best. And we also wish, I've got to give a special mention to Naki, because if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for Naki, we wouldn't have met. Yeah,
absolutely. She's one of our members, and what a job Dee to do. We're sponsoring their offices out in Uganda because we believe 100% in what she's doing. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And Georgia's a big fan as well. We love her to bits. She's been on the show three times. Absolutely fantastic. So that's it. I mean, it's Soccer Saturday's done again for another day. George, been great. Tell me what's happening this week. Give me some news. Give us some feed.
I've got my brother's visiting from the UK, which is nice. And after that, we got some other family coming as well. My brother-in-law and his family. So there'll be some family time. It's the holiday season, but they're not going to see they're not going to see much of me, right?
No, because you're going to be on here.
Well, I'm going to be on there, and I've got other stuff to do with with the football app and the football coin and the Panda coin. There's a lot going on, as you well know. So. Yeah, but it's not work. It's fun, right? And we're just very grateful to be part of a wonderful team. So
I think that sums it up, George. That you know what, football is fun. It's not like work. And I said to my parents that what I'm doing now is my greatest love. And I've wanted to do it from being a little boy, and now we're doing it. We've got all these lovely people on. We're getting guests on like David. It's fantastic. So that's us. That's us from Hollywood Balls and TFA. David, a massive thank you to you.
And get those predictions from Super Kev, okay?
I'm going to hold on. I'll text him now.
Yeah. He's late. He knows what that means.
Yeah, he's late on parade, George. He's late on parade.
All right.